Hey there football fans, welcome to Goalside. Before we start, don't forget to participate in our lottery for a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe to our channel and write the hidden message you'll find later in the video in the comments. Good luck! He's one of the most prolific strikers in Europe. Scoring week in and week out, Harry Kane is looking to become one of the best English players of all time with his goal-scoring skills and impeccable technique. Many are arguing that the Englishman's ambitions don't match the ones of his current club, Tottenham. Spurs are yet to win a trophy with Harry Kane leading the charge, and the chairman Daniel Levy has a reputation for being very cheap in the transfer market. All of this begs the question, will Harry Kane leave his beloved Tottenham for a chance to play at the very top? This is a very viable option at the moment for plenty of reasons. One of the most sought after strikers on the planet, Kane isn't wanted just because he's extremely good. He is so wanted also due to the fact that Europe is lacking strikers who can do it all these days, so a player like Kane truly is a rarity. Robert Lewandowski is perhaps the only one who possesses such technical prowess combined with deadly finishing, but looking outside of Kane and the pole, there aren't exactly top guns ready to do it all on the biggest level. It's the truth that Luis Suarez can be an unstoppable force in front of the goal, but his lack of build-up usefulness tends to hurt Barcelona when they need it the most. On the other hand, a player like Karim Benzema is technically and tactically brilliant, but the Frenchman with Algerian roots often lacks the killer instincts in front of the goal, leading to big goal-scoring droughts. Looking at Harry Kane, it's hard to find weaknesses in his game. The Englishman is very strong and can be used as a target man with his 1.88 metre size, but Kane's technical skill is what sets him apart, and he's equally adept at dropping back and combining with his teammates. This is especially useful because Kane is incredibly intelligent on the pitch, so he perfectly knows when to open up spaces in the defence for his wingers and midfielders to attack, and when to attack the depth himself, creating a 90-minute long threat for any opposition. The legendary English striker Teddy Sheringham once said, "I like Harry, I've met him a couple of times, and you can tell he wants to learn, which is a big factor for a young footballer. He's not big time one bit. I just love the way he's taken on the mantle of being the number one striker because it's not easy. He's gone in there and said, bring it on, I'll have some of that, and long may it continue." Even though it looked like Tottenham are about to hit it big after reaching the Champions League final last season, that didn't happen. In fact, the North London club is seemingly going downhill with each passing month. An awful start of the season saw a long-tenured manager, Mauricio Pochettino, out of the door, and this was especially painful for Kane, who developed into a world-class striker he is today, largely because of the Argentinian's guidance from the bench. Even though the early signs with Jose Mourinho were encouraging, we can now see that it was just a highlight, rather than a long-term solution, because the Portuguese man is facing tons of issues at his new club. Meanwhile, Kane suffered a season-ending injury, further adding to his team's problems as the club captain isn't getting back before at least July. But even if he does want to leave Tottenham, it's not all up to him. Daniel Levy prices his striker north of €200 million, meaning that only a rare few can afford to buy Kane from the Spurs. With the clubs losing revenue due to coronavirus, that figure now looks absolutely impossible to reach for anyone. However, there are some clubs that will be desperate to sign the English striker. Real Madrid are first in the line of clubs looking for a long-term solution at the striker spot. Playing for Los Blancos is a special honour, and playing in front of such a creative team can only help to any possible addition. Harry Kane would certainly profit from playing alongside Toni Kroos, Isco, and even Martin Ødegaard, who could return to Madrid for the following season. It's also easy to see both him and Benzema featuring in the lineup together because of the fact that they both possess a very high footballing IQ. Even the club legend Hugo Sanchez spoke highly of the English striker, saying that Real Madrid should sign Kane. I'm of the opinion that Real Madrid should have two teams and two strong number 9s. I've noticed Harry Kane for a long time. I'd sign him, even for €200 million. Ronaldo also cost a lot, and look what he gave to the club. But knowing Florentino Perez, with his magic he surely has something in his head to do something, but I know the remodelling of the stadium will take money out of the budget. Benzema is already a 32-year-old, and he's on the receiving end of critics more and more as the years go by, as the fans are demanding more goals from him. It's clear that the French striker isn't capable of delivering world-class numbers consistently, which brings the need for a killer in front of goal, and Kane is one. Madrid already gave it a shot with Luka Jovic, but the Serbian didn't fulfill the expectations at all, and Florentino Perez will probably want to go with a big-name signing that Harry Kane certainly is. The statistics back up this claim too. Kane went past the 20-goal mark 4 consecutive times in the Premier League, establishing himself as the cream of the crop when it comes to finishing. Not only that, but the striker managed to rack up more than 30 assists for both England and his club, proving that he's as versatile as they get. Perhaps former Tottenham manager Harry Redknapp described Kane the best. He's got the lot, and he's only going to get better. He can do everything: score a goal, pass it, and bring other players in. If every footballer had his attitude, a manager's job would be so much easier. He's like a Frank Lampard or a Stevie Gerrard, a consummate professional. We already talked about his potential transfer to Real Madrid, and now it's time to look at another potential suitor for the Englishman, FC Barcelona. The Catalans are a European powerhouse going against Real Madrid year after year, playing the famed El Clasico and competing in the same league. Barca with a better side overall in the 21st century, and the part that made the difference between the two clubs for most of the time was the striking department. Barcelona are famous for having some of history's best goal scorers in their ranks, from the early 2000s when Rivaldo and Kluivert led the charge, through the mid-2000s when Samuel Eto'o and Thierry Henry made up for a feared duo in Europe with none else than Ronaldinho behind them, all the way to the modern age when Neymar, Suarez and Messi led Barca to Champions League glory in 2015. But it now looks like the right time for Barca to bring in some reinforcements up front. With Neymar leaving, the Catalans found themselves with a big gap unfulfilled, neither by Ousmane Dembele or Philippe Coutinho. Regardless, Luis Suarez took even more of a goal-scoring burden alongside Lionel Messi, and the duo were enough for 2 consecutive La Liga titles after Neymar left the club. But with Suarez rapidly declining this season, and Antoine Griezmann proving he's not the typical number 9, the whole club is pointing in just one direction: a striker. This summer is almost guaranteed to bring us a blockbuster transfer at Barca, with the Catalans putting all their focus on finding the replacement for the ageing Luis Suarez. Harry Kane is the obvious choice. He possesses the technique, which is always the number 1 requirement at Blaugrana, and he's deadly enough to offer big goal-scoring numbers year after year. However, an issue that they could face is the possible return of Neymar. If Barca were to bring back the Brazilian to the club, it almost certainly means that their transfer budget is dead, and that no other attackers are joining the club this summer. Lionel Messi repeatedly talked about wishing for Neymar to return, as did the Brazilian himself. But if PSG are determined to keep their winger in France, Kane might just be the second option for the Catalan Giants. The third and final candidate for signing Harry Kane is Manchester United. This option is definitely the one both the club and their fans want to avoid, because selling their best player to a league rival would certainly send a message about the club's weakness on the market, and would also probably ruin any potential hopes of winning the Premier League in the foreseeable future. Kane never commented on these speculations himself, but it's pretty clear that the striker is eager to fight for silverware at the very top, and it's pretty clear that Tottenham cannot offer that to him right now. However, a big problem for Kane's potential wish to leave Spurs is his contract. The Englishman signed a 6-year contract with Spurs, keeping him in North London until 2024. With the player entering his prime at 26 years old, he'll certainly want to leave far before his contract with Tottenham runs out. Whatever the case may be, we are witnessing one of the best strikers in the century, impressing week in and week out, and we can only hope to watch him battle it out at the top of European football in the future, no matter where it is.